One Bitcoin will be worth $1 million by the year 2030, and here's why. Bitcoin has been trending upwards since its inception back in 2009, when it was worth absolutely nothing. There was a point in time where Bitcoin was not worth anything, and in order to trade it, you had to meet with people in person and exchange Bitcoins on the blockchain with physical cash. So you'd have to meet in like a public park and like, oh, I'll give you like 1,000 Bitcoins if you give me like $10, and that's how they would do it. Nowadays we have exchanges that do all this for us, where we put in the money, and as a buyer we put in like $1,000 and it'll match us up with a seller who's willing to sell $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, and the transaction happens. And we've come a long way since 2009, where people were exchanging Bitcoins in person. Obviously, Bitcoin has received major adoption since 2009, and here we are in 2023, where people are possibly talking about hyper Bitcoinization, where Bitcoin could possibly be future reserve currencies and the global currency of the world. Not just America, but India, China, all of Europe, Russia, Africa, South America, North America, anywhere, even Antarctica, where there's like 7 people. The 7 people in Antarctica, they'll be using Bitcoin uh, to pay for food, pay for entertainment, do whatever you got to do. Bitcoin is going to be what people are going to be using in the future, and through its adoption, it will reach $1 million by the year 2030. Bitcoin tokenomics are also extremely strong. For the last 14 years, Bitcoin has been mined with its proof of work consensus mechanism, and it has yielded a certain amount of Bitcoin to be into the circulation. Right now, it's a little bit above 19 million, and over the next 140 years, we're going to go from 19 million Bitcoin to the final terminal rate of 21 million Bitcoin. And the way that Bitcoin has been going towards that number of 21 million is by mining coins on a certain schedule, where after about every 4 years, there's a halvening that occurs, where all of a sudden now there's going to be half as much Bitcoin that are going to be mined. So when Bitcoin was first, when the Genesis block first happened in 2009, 50 Bitcoin were created every 10 minutes and released to the miners, the people that were validating all the transactions. And then 4 years after that, it was 25 Bitcoin. 4 years after that, which was the last cycle, it was like 12 and a half Bitcoins every 10 minutes. Nowadays, up until 2024 next year, it's 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. After the next halving, it's going to be 3.5 or 3.25. And after that, it's going to be a little bit over 1.5 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's becoming more and more scarce over time. The demand for Bitcoin is only going up, but the supply is slowing down. Less Bitcoin are being created, and there'll never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. Everybody already knows this. And out of that 21 million Bitcoin, how much of it is already lost, we don't really know. It could be like 3 million, 4 million Bitcoin have already been lost. So this is just Bitcoin that's been, essentially donated, to nobody. And this benefits everybody else that actually does own Bitcoin, making the Bitcoin that you do own that much more scarce. So with the rising demand of Bitcoin and its increasing adoption, more money is going to flow into this cryptocurrency, as well as institutional investors. When regulation comes through, I think regulators are going to be a lot nicer to Bitcoin than they are to a lot of the other coins that are in the altcoin market. For example, I think Ethereum is going to have a little bit of a fight. There's going to be a ton of proof of stake currencies that are going to have to possibly go up against the SEC. I don't want to cause any sort of FUD or any sort of drama or scare people, but this is something to keep in mind. Gary Gensler seems to be pro Bitcoin right now, or just less so anti Bitcoin at this point. He's come out and called Bitcoin a commodity, and it appears that there's now a precedent set out that Bitcoin is now a commodity, meaning that it has lower taxes, which is always a good thing. And this is going to cause more people to throw their money into Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance is pretty strong. Right now, it's around 35% of the money that is in the entire cryptoverse is in Bitcoin. So, a lot of the money that's in crypto right now, it seems to be flowing from these altcoins into Bitcoin, especially during bear markets. And we're going to continue to see that. A lot of these meme coins like Shiba Inu and Dogecoin are just going to continue to bleed to Bitcoin in the long term, and that's just not for the meme coins. A lot of these coins that are considered ETH killers that don't really do anything all that different from ETH, they're going to continue to bleed to these, blue chip coins like Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I think a majority of the money that's going to go towards these blue chips is going to go towards Bitcoin because it's just safer than Ethereum is. Ethereum is more centralized than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably the most decentralized, well, definitely the most decentralized blockchain out there. It has a creator that, had this immaculate conception with the cryptocurrency where they, created it, they got it going, and then they walked away after a year. And that's good for the currency. There's nobody that we can point to and be like, oh, this is the creator of Bitcoin, what a scumbag, what a bad person, let's jail them. They've done these bad things. Not knowing who Satoshi Nakamoto is, who's the creator of Bitcoin, is good for Bitcoin. But that being said, as time goes on, there's just going to be more money that flows into Bitcoin. And with the scarcity that Bitcoin has and the supply that's going to get crunched on and crunched on and crunched on as time goes on, it only makes sense that Bitcoin will reach $1 million per coin eventually. And I believe that we're going to reach $1 million per coin by 2030, because by that point, there'll be 1.5 Bitcoin released to the miners every 10 minutes. This is a very, small number of Bitcoin compared to the 50 that we started with at the Genesis block back in 2009. So, you tell me. And down in the comments below, do you think that Bitcoin is going to reach $1 million per coin by 2030? Why, if you believe so? Why not, if you don't believe so? And if you like the content, please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. It really helps out the channel. This is DeFi Generate. I make a lot of videos on cryptocurrency and DeFi, and I'm going to continue to do so. I really appreciate everyone that's watched to this point. Please hit the like bell, the like button, all that stuff. It really helps out. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.